Moving to the right from the temptation of Eve with its representation of the serpent in the Garden of Eden, the viewer is immediately confronted with a second serpent. This snake, however, is speared and writhing on the lance, held by the equestrian Saint Theodore, the subject of the first sculpture on the left-hand side of the western flank of the facade. Here is a detailed portrait of Theodore. Theodore is accompanied by his fellow military saints, Sergios and Georgos, who are also shown on horseback and in the act of vanquishing enemies. Sergios spears a lion or perhaps a leopard, while George thrusts his lance into a bound man lying beneath his horse's feet. These three saints offer protection to the faithful, and their message of triumph over evil that is achieved through divine aid is made explicit by the juxtapositioning of the serpent of the temptation and the serpent that is being destroyed by St. Theodore. While the equestrian saints convey a message symbolizing the protective beliefs of faith, the protective benefits of faith, the biblical scenes that follow them more tangibly illustrate the promise of physical salvation that is granted to the faithful. First is the depiction of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the furnace. It's a little dark, but you can make them out here, these three. They were provincial governors serving Nebuchadnezzar and were sentenced to death by fire for their refusal to worship a golden image created by the king. Their faith saved them, and after emerging unscathed, they prospered. The three stand together, their arms raised in prayer. The message of physical salvation is also conveyed by the following scene, which depicts Daniel in the lion's den. And that begins here and continues through here. Daniel's refusal to cease his worship of God caused Darius, the Median king of Babylon, to put him in the lion's den. According to the apocryphal book of Bel and the Dragon, an angel then appeared to Habakkuk and commanded that he take Daniel his freshly prepared meal. When Habakkuk protested, he found himself picked up by the hair and transported to the lion's den. And the first figures in this scene, carved on the palace church, show the angel with the prophet Habakkuk in hand, grasped firmly by the hair. Here's the hair. Both figures are carved in half length. Daniel, to the right of Habakkuk, is dressed in a mantle and baggy trousers, similar to those worn by the three Hebrews. He is flanked by two lions, which stand upside down with their tails drooping between their raised hind legs. Both lick Daniel's feet, seemingly not yet converted to vegetarianism. Daniel, like the Hebrews in the furnace, emerged unscathed by virtue of his faith, and the biblical accounts note that he too prospered after his ordeal. The scenes on the western flank of the north facade thus illustrate the apotropaic qualities of faith, stressing the fortitude required of the faithful by God and the benefits that will be their reward. Viewed in its entirety, the figural register of the north facade conveys Gagik's hope that his penitence will allow him to reap the protective rewards granted to the faithful in the struggle against the non-believer and in the quest for personal redemption. The need for redemption is particularly emphasized by the depiction of original sin.